So DeepSeek, a China-based AI lab, just dropped a research paper showing how their AI can improve by itself. No human in the loop. That's huge. It means we're finally getting closer to language models that can actually think. Kind of like how AlphaGo plays Go at a superhuman level. Now we're starting to see that kind of intelligence in language models too. And what's even crazier, the way they're doing it might totally change how we train and align AI going forward. So let's break it down really simply. When you train an AI like ChatGPT, it learns a ton of stuff, but even after all that training, it's still kind of raw. Like, smart but not always helpful. So what do labs do? They train another AI, a judge, whose job is to rate the answers the main AI gives. It gives it a score, maybe 7 out of 10, and the main AI learns to get better over time by pleasing the judge. This whole process, often called RLHF or RLAIF, is super crucial. But here's the thing. These AI judges, they're not perfect. Far from it, actually. Imagine having a coach who's like a world-class expert in math, but completely clueless about poetry. That's kind of like these AI judges sometimes. They might be great at spotting errors in code, but terrible at judging if a story is actually engaging, or if an answer is subtly biased. They often just give a single number score, like 7 out of 10. But what does that even mean? Was it a 7 because the facts were right but the writing sucked, or the other way around? The score doesn't tell you. It's like getting a B on an essay with no comments. Not super helpful for actually getting better. And here's another biggie. Usually, these judges don't magically get smarter if you just let them think longer about an answer. Their quality is kind of locked in from their training. If you want a better judge, you typically have to go back and spend a ton of time and money retraining it with more human feedback. It's slow, it's expensive, and it's a major bottleneck holding back how fast AI can really improve. So DeepSeek looked at all this and went, okay, maybe there's a better way. Their idea, this thing they built called DeepSeek GRM, the acronym, just think of it as a new kind of AI coach. This coach doesn't just slap a grade on the paper. No, this coach writes comments, like detailed comments. When it looks at an AI's answer, it first figures out, okay, what things should I be judging this answer on for this specific question? It might decide, all right, I need to check for factual accuracy, maybe how clear the explanation is, and did it follow the weird formatting the user asked for? It comes up with these judging rules, these principles, on the fly. Then, based on those rules it just decided on, it writes out an actual critique, explaining what the main AI did well and where it messed up, according to those principles. Only then, after writing all that out, does it give the final score. Think about that. It's like a teacher who actually explains why you got the grade you did. It's way more insightful. And because it's generating these critiques and principles as text, it's more flexible. You can ask it to judge one answer or compare 5 answers. It doesn't really care. It uses the same process. Now, how do they teach this commenting coach to be any good? They have this training method. Okay, technical name is SPCT, but let's just call it smart practice. It's basically like this. The commenting coach practices writing its critiques and giving scores on tons of examples. Then it gets feedback. Not necessarily from a human every time, but based on whether its final judgment matched what was already known to be the right answer or the better answer from existing data. If it gets it right, thumbs up, do more of that. If it gets it wrong, thumbs down, try something different. It learns through trial and error, reinforced by these simple right or wrong signals, to figure out how to write good, insightful comments and principles that lead to the correct final judgment. It's learning how to be a good judge by practicing judging. Okay, stay with me, because this is where it starts to feel a bit sci-fi, the part that really got me thinking about AI getting smarter by itself. It's what they call inference-time scaling. Fancy name, but the core idea is beautifully simple. What if asking the coach once gives you a decent judgment, but asking it multiple times gives you a genius-level judgment? So picture this. You want the DeepSeek commenting coach to judge an answer. Instead of asking it just once, you ask it, say, 8 times. Or maybe even 32 times, like they did in their tests. Each time, because it's generating text and reasoning, it might take a slightly different approach, focus on slightly different principles, or word its critique differently. It's like getting 32 slightly different opinions from the same expert who's allowed to rethink the problem each time. Then, you need to combine these 32 opinions. The simple way, just average the scores, or see which answer got voted best most often. And even that simple trick, DeepSeek showed, makes the final judgment way better, way more reliable than just asking once. It's like the wisdom of the crowd, but the crowd is just one AI asked many times. It averages out any weird single opinion and gets closer to the truth. But they took it even further, and this is super clever. They thought, well, maybe out of those 32 opinions, some are kind of dumb, right? Maybe the AI coach just wasn't having a good thought that time. So they trained another tiny little AI helper. They call it a med-arm, but let's call it the critique quality checker. This checker's only job is to read the written comments from each of the 32 attempts and quickly decide, was this a well-reasoned critique or was it kind of nonsense? Then, when combining the 32 opinions, they listen more to the ones that the quality checker said were based on good reasoning. They might ignore the scores from the poorly reasoned critiques altogether, or just give them less weight. It's like having a panel of 32 experts, but also having a moderator who points out which experts seem to be making the most sense, so you pay more attention to them. And the result? An even better, even more accurate final judgment. And here's the mind-blowing part. They achieved this massive improvement without retraining the AI coach. They just use more computer power at the moment they need the judgment, letting it think harder by running it multiple times and intelligently combining the results. This feels different, doesn't it? An AI component whose quality isn't just fixed by its training, but can be significantly boosted, made more reliable, just by allocating more compute to its reasoning process in real time. Could this be a hint, a glimmer of how more advanced AI, maybe even superintelligence, might work? Not just being statically smart, but having the ability to dynamically allocate resources to think deeper about a problem, to internally cross-check and refine its own conclusions, until it reaches a higher level of certainty or insight. Think about applying this beyond just judging answers. What if an AI could use a similar multi-think and refine process for complex problem solving, for scientific discovery, for strategy? Could this mechanism, where an AI leverages multiple internal instances or thought processes, guided by some internal quality check, be one of the pathways to recursive self-improvement, the holy grail of AGI research? It feels like, maybe? It's like we're giving the AI a way to simulate its own internal peer review or brainstorming session, scaled up massively. Now let's talk results, because DeepSeek backed this up. They showed that their commenting coach AI, which was a pretty standard medium size, 27 billion parameters, big, but not the biggest out there. When they let it do this multi-think thing, like 32 times with the quality checker helping, it could actually produce better judgments overall than much, much larger AI judges, like maybe versions of GPT-4 or other huge models, when those giant models were only asked once. Read that again. A medium AI thinking harder beats a giant AI taking a quick look. That's huge. It suggests that maybe, just maybe, the race towards smarter AI isn't only about building bigger and bigger digital brains. Maybe it's also about building smarter thinking processes within those brains, about making better use of the compute we have when we need it. It's the difference between having a massive library, a huge model, and having a really skilled researcher who knows how to use that library effectively. Cross-referencing and thinking critically. Smart inference. So what does this all mean for us, for the future of AI? Well, first off, it means we could get much better AI assistants, chatbots, creative tools, you name it. If the AI coaches are better, the main AIs they train will learn faster, be safer, follow our instructions more reliably, and just generally be less annoying and more helpful. That detailed critique the coach writes, maybe that could even be shown to us users sometimes, explaining why the AI gave the answer it did. Second, it throws a fascinating curveball into the whole AGI race. Is the path forward just scaling model size exponentially, hoping intelligence emerges, or is it about breakthroughs in algorithms, in architectures, in these kinds of smart inference techniques that squeeze more intelligence out of the parameters we already have? This DeepSeek work makes a strong case for the latter being incredibly important. Third, think about DeepSeek themselves. They're planning to release their next big model, maybe called DeepSeek R2, potentially soon. You can bet your bottom dollar that this smart coaching technology, this ability to scale judgment quality with compute, is going to be baked right into how they train and align that model. Could R2, armed with this tech, leapfrog the competition, even the closed-source giants? It's definitely possible. It makes the upcoming AI releases even more exciting. Honestly, this whole thing feels like a significant step. It's not quite AI spontaneously improving itself overnight into superintelligence. Let's not get carried away. But it is giving AI a mechanism to significantly enhance a critical cognitive function, judgment and evaluation, through a kind of guided, iterative, computational thought process. It's making the process of intelligence more flexible and scalable, not just the static knowledge base. And that feels like it could be laying down some important track towards much more capable, maybe even fundamentally different AI systems in the future. It's the difference between memorizing facts and learning how to reason, and how to be confident in your reasoning. DeepSeek seems to be pushing towards the latter for their AI coaches. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I'm genuinely fascinated by this one, and where it could lead.